Secretary General of South African Youth Chamber of Commerce, Tshiamo Dichabe, joins us to weigh in further as the release some of these unemployment stats, of course, have been made available today. Tshiamo, good evening, and thank you for making time to chat with us here on the SABC at this hour.
Thank you for having me on this platform, and to the viewers also, good evening.
All right, thank you. And thank you for making time, because we're obviously looking at the numbers, making sense of the facts and figures, the possibilities and the probabilities, given our landscape as a country, the economic landscape. And I wonder if we could get your reaction. So some of the stats coming through, it reports that unemployment now for those aged between 15 and 34 years who are not in education or training, that's increased to 45.1% in the first quarter of 2025. There's, of course, the unemployment rate, the expanded unemployment rate definition as well. What is your reaction for this quarter?
We are really concerned about the current statistics that we are seeing, and we truly believe that as a South African Youth Chamber of Commerce, that this is a setup, you know, for an explosion in terms of how youth would react to this unemployment. And it's worrying because we are currently facing high levels of unemployment, youth sitting at home. This is in essence a ticking time bomb for our country. And we are concerned that our government and all the stakeholders are not doing quite enough to support especially entrepreneurship development that can absorb some of these high levels of unemployment. And as such, as a South African Youth Chamber of Commerce, we really are appealing to government to say we can do more. There is quite a lot that can be done. There are opportunities where we can increase and mainstream youth entrepreneurship development that can absorb the skills force and create the much needed work opportunities. This kind of scenario is not only a problem of government. It's a societal problem, and like I said, it's a ticking time bomb. And I'm worried about the current state of affairs in our country.
So let's get into that, and thank you for painting that picture, because we're obviously now looking at the initiatives that have been put in place to get the youth employed, for them to build capacity, garner experience, be absorbed into the workforce, opportunities on that front, and the results that they're obviously yielding and bearing at this point. Tell us about what more could be done, given that where we are is not looking, it's rather bleak.
You know, we need to maybe look a little bit back also into history from where we are sitting as a South African Youth Chamber of Commerce. I mean, it's not the first time in terms of how this country finds itself, you know. Back in the ages, you'll find that there was a time when a lot of white people, predominantly Afrikaners, were unemployed, but the state was able to create a conducive environment to create industries within the energy sector, the mining sector, the agricultural sector, where we were able to absorb and create work opportunities for those that are unemployed. I do understand there are public employment programs that are already in place, for example, your EPWP, your community works programs, and so on, that the government is trying to create as a buffer to create employment. But we are saying that with the resources and the nature of where we are as a country, we could be trying to create platforms where we can mainstream entrepreneurship development, introduce young people into sectors, for example, agriculture, construction, energy, the fourth industrial revolution in terms of the artificial intelligence, AI, and ICT, you know, where we can be able to create work opportunities. There are programs, obviously, that government has been trying to put in place, even including the UIF, where they have created work opportunities for those that are in their database. But we feel like that is not enough in terms of what we need to be doing as a country, but also aligning it to saying what is it that we need and what is our focus as a country. Right?
Yes.
In China, you'll find that ICT and technology, they're taking the mainstream. In India, you'll find that manufacturing and the industrial development corporations in that industry are trying to create opportunities for young people to be involved as entrepreneurs. But what is our main focus? right, as a South African government in terms of mainstreaming youth entrepreneurship development, mainstreaming young people to get into business, and what are we creating? Because those are the people that are supposed to be creating the jobs. We are tired of talking about job seekers. Can we now get to a point where we are creating job creators, but we need to create a conducive environment for them to be entrepreneurs in those sectors and understand what is required of them to ensure that we grow the economy together and mainstream young people into those developmental sectors like agriculture.
So, Tshiamo, on that note, as we wrap up, I mean, leadership then also comes to the fore, and perhaps the attitude of leadership. Help us understand that as we wrap up there in relation to this unemployment crisis. Also, to your point that obviously there are programs already in place. There are public-private partnerships, there's subsidies. You've got the extended public works program that obviously has, yielded some results. Yeah.
No, leadership is very important, and right now, as young people in this country, we need decisive leadership. We can see what is happening in other countries where decisive leadership has created that conducive environment that we are talking about. We're talking about, for example, what they're currently doing in areas of construction, in areas of agriculture, in areas of energy, renewable energy, if we may say, because we do have, for example, a high level of energy insufficiency in South Africa with all this load shedding that is happening. We could be mainstreaming youth and young people into those kind of technologies where we are saying these are entrepreneurial opportunities, these are designated for young people. And obviously our municipalities, whether at a local level or whether it's at a district level or provincial level, we need to see how municipalities are also creating that platform for young people to be able to become entrepreneurs and create the work opportunity. We can't rely this on government alone. But us as a people, we need to say, how do we mainstream young people to get into business and explore these business opportunities?
Tshiamo, thank you for your time and for weighing in. Let's leave our conversation there for now.